You know what? I feel all chess platforms must do something to ban the opening tricks that you're about to see. And you shouldn't even try them either to avoid gaining free elos, especially in online games. But just to open up, at times I use some of these dirty tricks to punish pre-movers or people who are lazy to think. So let's start with opening trick number 1 that make people win in 2 moves. I'm gonna give you 5 of them. Dirty trick number 1, the Pirc defense 2-move victory. This begins with e4. If your opponent plays d6, there's a higher chance that on the next move they are going to play knight f6 in the hope of Fianchettoing their dark squad bishop like that and castling short. That's what they do in the Pirc defense. Sometimes they follow it up with moves like c6 and b5 later in the opening stage. So once you know this plan, avoid playing pawn to e5. Because you know what? There's a high chance your opponent, who is a lazy thinker, is gonna pre-move knight f6, and right on move 2 they will resign after pawn takes, or probably on move 3. I win most of my games like this, especially in blitz and bullet. And oops, my bad, I use this to punish lazy thinkers and pre-movers. Here's the proof. Hey, let's go. Oh, okay, so oh, my opponent just hung the knight. Come on. It's time to resign, buddy. I'm sorry. This is what I do to pre-movers. So let me just take my opponent's knight. Knight f3. Okay. Let's see what they are going to do. Looks like my opponent is going to resign. They have stopped playing. That's what I do to pre-movers. Of course, while this dirty trick is dubious, the whole idea is if black takes the pawn, we just want to transpose the game back to the Tennyson gambit, probably something like this. After e4, we go knight g5. This is what we do. And after something like knight f6, we go d3. And if pawn takes, we go bishop takes. And after h6, guess you guys already know this drop by now. Knight takes f7, double attacking the queen and the rook, so that if king takes, we give them a check like this, not allowing them to go back. So on the next move, we usually grab a free queen. This is the Tennyson gambit trap, and that's what you're supposed to do if your opponent doesn't fall for that dirty trick where they blunder knight f6 on move 2. Please don't do this to gain free elos. Up to you to decide. Dirty trick number 2. This is where you make your opponents resign in 2 moves. So you first start with pawn to d4. And if you see that your opponent is just pre-moving without thinking, especially in bullet, try the following trick. After g6, the modern defense, you go bishop h6, because there's a higher chance they are going to play bishop g7 on move 2, and you're going to win free elos just like that. Now once again, we're just having fun here, don't take offense. Remember, the keyword is we are punishing pre-movers, so better try this in casual games just to have fun. And if you know you are better than your opponent, tactically speaking, you should be able to continue playing and probably win even when you're down a piece like this. So we are teaching people to be patient. Here's the proof from one of my most recent games. Let's try this. So this guy is a pre-mover, look. You see? And just like that, I won. This wasn't a paid actor. 24.90 by rating. People don't think. Why? Now, leeches should ban this. Right there, this guy was a 24.90 rated player. I don't even know him. But why? Dirty trap number 3. Now this is serious, you guys. This happens in the modern gambit or the Fianchetto gambit. By move number 3, I always find myself being up a pawn. Like for real, I'm not even joking. And I'll prove to you guys in a moment that people nowadays are not patient. That's why patience is good. So your opponent plays pawn to e4, you go g6, and after d4, you simply go pawn to f5. I have a lot of amazing videos on this gambit, and I have won a lot of games in live streams. You can check out my modern gambit videos. Just type KaspaChess modern gambit KaspaChess, Fianchetto gambit, they are going to pop up. The original theory is that if white takes, you go pawn to d5. Again, if they take, you take back with your h pawn, and if they attack that pawn, you go queen d6 to protect your pawn, also to stop bishop f4. And if they play knight f3, you pin that knight. If they go h3, you do nothing about your bishop, knowing that white can't take due to rook takes. In that case, you go knight c6. This is just how the plan goes. It is very simple to play. So white protects their d pawn like this, and now this is when you go pawn to e5. You can tell from the eval bar that the game is getting back to equality. After pawn takes, you go knight takes. If something like bishop e2, this is when you take on f3, and after bishop takes, you just castle long. Most of my opponents here do castle short, and that's the beginning of their fall. Let me give you a clear plan from here. You're going to develop your dark square bishop to h6 and start pushing your g-pawn to open up the king side. One of these days, your knight is going to join the party, probably through e7 to f5, and you're going to mate your opponent very quickly. Look at where your queen and rook are eyeing. But I said by move number 3, you will always be finding yourself to be up a pawn. So after e4, you still open up with a modern gambit, and after d4, you go f5. Trust me, most people here play knight f3, sometimes knight c3, but still they don't see this pawn capture, not anticipating this capture. So after knight f3, this is where you're going to be winning a free pawn. Then you connect your pawns like that, and just a matter of time before you complete your development and castle short. By now, you're going to be winning a lot of games. Before I move on, here is the proof.
Okay, let's try this in bullet. You see? No one has time to think about these things. Why? Oh, I also lost a pawn. Again, they lost a piece. And, I mean, this is only move number, what? 5. And I just gained some free arrows. I won.
Dirty trick number 4, the Levitsky attack. So this is where you start with d4, then your opponents play d5. Now instead of playing pawn to c4, you play this weird move, you guys, bishop g5. Now this is not the Tromposky. The Tromposky is where white starts with d4 and then black plays knight to f6. Not pawn to d5, but knight to f6, and that's when you play bishop g5. This is called the Tromposky. But if you play bishop g5 before black plays knight to f6, this is called the Levitsky attack. So that's the difference. With bishop g5, I can guarantee you guys that you are more likely to win black's queen on d8 if most of your unprepared opponents pre-move pawn to e6, which they are going to do especially in blitz and bullet. So that's how you win black's queen on d8. Anyways, the whole idea of bishop g5, if your trick doesn't work, is that you just want to mess up your opponent's pawn structure on the king side like this. And secret number 1, because you have traded off your dark squared bishop, you want to start placing all your pawns on dark squares as highlighted. For example, you can go pawn to e3, they go bishop d6, and you go pawn to c3, g3, pawn to h4. But the best way to go about it is to start with a pawn break. You don't need that c pawn. If dc, you go bishop takes, castle short, queen c2 to stop bishop f5. Here is the proof.
Let's try the Levitsky. You see? Just like that. I want a free queen. So now it's just a matter of technique. Another free piece. Possible move. Okay, my opponent escaped that. Okay, I should be careful. I need to play this move. And take. Attack the knight. Do a check. Yep, I almost lost. On time, yep. Dirty trick number 5. This works like magic against QGD players or most Queen's Gambit players. Because you see, when somebody starts with pawn to d4, their next move in mind is obviously c4. They want to go pawn to c4, if not knight f3. So when you play the Polish in bullet, you will most likely get a free pawn by move number 2. I've won a lot of games like this, you guys. I can't even mention how many times. But see, there's a way we can hold on to this extra pawn like for good. It'll cost white to sacrifice a lot for them to get back that pawn. One way is to go pawn to d5 and c6, or just straight away go bishop s6. For example, if white plays pawn to e4, the top played move, you can hold on to that pawn like this, bishop s6. Now what most people do from here is playing queen a4, trying to get back that, and in a way keeping an eye on your light squad bishop, right? But now you can shift the attention away from this pawn on c4 by attacking the other pawn on e4. And most of your opponents will be advancing that pawn, but now you can gladly go knight d5. And this is where most people tend to mess it up. They always play bishop takes, thinking they're getting back a pawn, but oops, after knight b6, they are gone. The best they try from here is sacrificing their bishop, and after that, I mean, it's nothing. So you can see this is only move number 7, and somebody should be preparing to pack their bags and go home. Anywho, if not queen a4 back on move 4, you will see white playing queen c2. This is also a move, but again, you can just go pawn to d5 if you want, or something like that. Even e6 works. You don't really need to hold on to that. But just to show you, you can go pawn to d5, so that if pawn takes, you go queen takes. Still holding on to your extra pawn while developing your pieces. And by the way, with queen takes d5, you are now attacking this other pawn. So if knight a3, you can even take if you want. But what I love doing is to go pawn to e5 in this position, waiting for white to blunder. Because if bishop takes, I have queen takes g2, and there are some problems here. Most of your opponents are not going to see this, trust me. But there's one tricky line you need to know, which only strong players will play from here. Queen f5, trying to give you a check. Here you can just go knight f6, or pawn to f6 if you are risk averse. Knight f6 runs into pawn takes, but this is not much of a stretch due to bishop takes. You're just going to get back that piece. If pawn takes, you can even cast a shot. Why is this good for black? Because you have so many active lines. And just see, if pawn takes, you have bishop takes e4. That's it. Look at this, look at that. White's king is too open for many attacks.
Here is the proof.
Let's try the Polish. You see? I'm not editing these games, you guys. These are real people blundering like this. So I'm just up a pawn for good. So you can see I wasn't lying. Now it is time for me to work for my meal. The game is still there. There's still a long way to go. Can even lose if I don't do things right. Let's do that. I'll retreat my bishop. Can play pawn to f6 to get rid of that, or probably knight d7, challenge that knight. Yep. Now free up that relax squared bishop. Let's do this. I have a perfect pawn structure on the center, and I guess I'm going to win. Just a matter of time. Let's challenge the dark squared bishop. I'm already up a pawn. Let's cast a shot. I'll play queen c7 next. So let's do that. I want to take and start attacking from this angle. Let's do this. I have h5 and that. So let's do this. So now I can start attacking with everything I have. Let's go in with the rook. The rook to join the party, or my opponent wants to do that, but I think I don't mind losing that. Let's do this. I'm going to win the queen. No, not yet. So let's do this. The game is over. In fact, instead of checkmating, let me do this. I have checkmate. Yep, game over. Right, again, I'm on my knees. Don't try these dirty tricks, or else you're going to win some free elos. Okay, the bottom line here is that most people have become lazy thinkers. And this is how you can punish pre-movers. People who seem not to have patience. Try this at your own risk. Don't blame the teacher. Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
And hey, want to take your chess seriously? Simply head over to the comment section down below and find a special link to my courses that you should click. You will be redirected to my Patreon page where you can access all my wonderful courses. By the way, that's how you support this channel. And hey, if you really care about this channel and want to see us grow, click the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell notification icon for all my content. That way you won't miss any of my future uploads. Lastly, to get this free study PGN that I'm using in this video, simply scroll all the way down to the comment section and click the first link that you see, which will redirect you to a page that will ask you to subscribe before getting this PGN for free.